and welcome back to the LEC. After this crazy and long game, SK managed to pick up the win in the end. And Treatz, please guide me through this madness. You had the lead, you had the Baron, you had the Elder, you had the 10v5 with the Chemtech Soul. What made it difficult for you to close out the game?
Oh, Laure, I don't even know where to start, to be honest. What I remember of this game is that it was a free win, and then we died once at their inhib, and then it was just a complete blur. So after that, I don't really remember anything, but I'm happy we won.
How hard was it to navigate through this madness in terms of communication and making it out in the end?
I mean, I think in terms of communication, I think we had a lot of correct calls. But after a certain point, when they had the Baron and Elder as well, it was really hard to navigate, and it was kind of just a stalling game. And I think they kind of felt the same, so it just ended up being like a trade Baron. Someone won a fight, and then it just kept going like that. So it was after a certain point, it was kind of just like a solo queue game that you wanted to end, and we won it, so I'm happy.
Kind of looked like a solo queue game, I gotta say. I want to talk about the Chemtech map because I know that the community has some strong words about this map. How is it in pro play?
I mean, I think against certain champions, it's very annoying to play against. Diana Yasuo is a good example of that. Diana can just hide in the fog and just wait for us to overstep a bit and then flash on us. I mean, I think Alistar is also a good champ, so it was kind of, I was abusing it as well. But I don't really like that it has too strong power for both teams. I think I would like something that's a bit more subtle, you know, and a bit more in line with the other dragons as well, because it feels very oppressive to play against. Yeah,
right. You have to be able to face check, which is not an easy thing to do, but you managed to do it, especially with Alistar, which got you the player of the game here. And I also want to touch on the fact that you're back on bot lane, playing with Jesus. What did you miss the most about playing support?
There's many things I missed playing with Jesus. I mean, we just have a really good synergy outside the game and inside the game, so it's always a blast playing with him. And in general, I think support and jungle both fit me. I feel confident on both, and support is a big playmaker in late game, I think arguably bigger than jungle, so it's nice to have this late game insurance as well and to be able to lead the team.
And it's very nice to see you back on bot lane, Treatz. Well, thank you so much for the interview. Congrats on winning this crazy game, and I'll see you tomorrow for the last game of Super Week. And for more on that game, Trevor, take it away.
Thank you so much, Laure. And I don't even know where to start. We only have a few minutes. So what I decided to do was put together a couple of replays and ask my analyst to break them down. Before we jump into it, this was the bloodiest game of the entirety of LEC 2021. It had 52 kills. This game just passed the record at 53. It did fall short on Elder Dragon kills, though, only securing 3. We have 2 games in our history with 4. Now, that aside, let's briefly talk about the comps. We went into it with saying that we thought we liked Mad Lions, and looking at the SK side, Trouble, a little bit of concern around maybe where the lanes could be played through and what would happen with it.
I just didn't find that it had any proactivity in the early game. I felt like all the lanes were a little bit more laid back. Hashtag we scale boys in the late game. We'll get there. Tank in the top, Cork in the mid. You had the Ezreal bot. I don't think that Zanzarah had anywhere that he could play really aggressive on, but apparently it didn't matter because nothing happened at the end of the game.
And you mentioned scaling. That was absolutely perfect for this game because of how late it went. And when it finally came to all these team fights, you know, it was always back and forth. It never felt like one team really had the edge despite all the complications that was in that fight.
Completely true. At about 12 minutes into the game, Irelia gets some kills, and I literally turned to Guldborg and said, 25-minute win. But the first play that made me shut up was this replay that we'll put on your screen in a moment. It came in about 20 minutes, and it starts with Kaiser placing a control ward.
See, when I spotted this, you see Kaiser actually had a ward up towards where Treatz is entering right now, but the pink ward he just placed down towards the bottom removed Treatz, or the vision of Treatz to move in here, which actually catches Armwood off guard. And from this point in the game, Mad Lions were actually ahead. They were the one who were dictating the pace. Because they get the pick on towards Armwood, because they get to create a man advantage, Treatz does something insanely smart. He finds the perfect flank onto the rest of them, and Certus actually has a package still on the Corki to pile on towards this one. So not only do you start the play out with a pick, you utilize all what you get out of it to perfection by getting a bait on towards your enemy and taking another fight afterwards.
And so crucially, at this stage in the game, SK already have 2 Drakes secured. They managed to secure a 3rd after winning that fight. And that was the first kind of inkling that SK Gaming would start to come back from the lead that Mad Lions had built up. They managed to get all the way to Seoul. They managed to get control of the entire game, but SK didn't really really pushed that advantage. So now I've got 3 different team fights of Mad Lions coming back into this match. It starts under the inhibitor, and I'm going to go to Trouble. What did you make of this first team fight?
I was here, first of all, I was like, Kaiser, what are you doing? This is madness. But again, Elyoya finds the perfect R press right there to get Yasuo in as well. I think that Yasuo-Diana combo has been working so well with them, and it worked out here. Had it not been for Zombie, had it not been for SK having the Chem Soul, I think this fight could have gone even worse for SK.
Yeah, of course, we turn our attention just a few minutes later to the Elder Dragon fight that is secured by Mad Lions. Now, this, I think, was the first time that I started to think maybe Mad could come back.
I genuinely thought they would here, because not only do they get Elder Drake, they get Baron afterwards as well, and it's off a horrible reset time off SK as well, because they have indecisive play. You see that they're still a young team and how they're playing in terms of, are we doing the Elder Drake? Are we going to do the inhibitor? Let's try and do both. Oh no, we messed up a fight. Back to the Elder Drake. There's so much chaotic stuff happening, and it's showing that we're still early in the seasoning as well as the same time.
There's no doubt about that. During this period of gameplay, we were having a discussion backstage around where do you attribute the blame on this one? Is it SK not pushing their advantage when they had the lead? Is it Mad Lions allowing SK back into the game? We don't have the time to find the answer now, but I do think it'll be discussed very heavily over the coming days. I got 2 replays left before we move on, and this one's going to be a 47-minute tri-bush fight.
Yes, yes, yes. This is all Elyoya. This is all 5 people together. Boom! That was a 5-man knock-up in for Rika as well on the Yasuo. They absolutely demolished SK in this fight. Zombies or not, Chemsol or not, I think Elyoya saw it. He smelled the blood, and honestly, he played out of his mind to find these openings, to find these opportunities for Mad Lions like he does every single game.
And not only that, flashbacks to Caedrel play-by-play casting this one. What a goat, honestly. When that happened, I still got chills. Not only the excitement, but Caedrel as well. Absolutely amazing.
Fantastic work, but we still have another fight, because at that point, everybody just expects Mad Lions to win. It's been dramatic, it's been back and forth. However, the very final fight inside the red buff of the blue side will determine this. And Guldborg, you're going to take us through it.
Yeah, let's have a look at the Chemfog for once, because this is a moment where Mad Lions have actually taken control of the river. The problem is for you right now, vision control around the Elder Drake area all of a sudden becomes quite tricky, because you don't have any ping boards. And Elyoya actually makes a crucial mistake here. Despite how well he's been playing, he's going to go on towards the Raptors in a bit and face check without vision. So I want you to take a look on towards the Raptors in just a moment, and then I will reveal to you what was waiting for him as well at the same time. So as we cue the clip, you can see they try to come in for a little bit of vision. Right now they still don't see anything. Elyoya, all right, that's some Raptors, dashes over, finds the rest of SK just waiting for him. Chemfog finally coming in here clutch, and it splits the fight up completely. You can see Elyoya, he's already trying to run away. Kaiser's caught in between the middle. Rika's not in the position for a good ultimate, and because of this, Mad Lions, who's been so good and crucial at their team fighting up until this point, are getting absolutely dissected. So as soon as 2 members go down in this fight, they suddenly get desperate. They know this game is almost over. They have to find something else to do, and that's why they stop it here. They want to bail it down on towards the bot lane, or in the mid lane rather, where you see them try to go for the inhibitor, try to potentially go for the end, but then they're like, oh wait, we can't end. But when you've said A, you also need to say B. So the problem is now you're just getting caught up in a choke point, and you're still 5 versus 3. You cannot win this fight. It's already over for Mad Lions. There's zombies as well that can take care of you, even if they were to find any kills. This game was absolute madness. Trying to dissect it, impossible.
What I particularly loved about the last clip is that Zizou instantly ease forward onto the Ezreal. He's like, I don't care if I die, I have got an angel. I'm just gonna run in and put as much damage as I can on that Diana Yasuo combo so they die as fast as possible so we can try to end the game.
I mean, it is such a mind-boggling end to the game, because in those split-second decisions, 4 versus 2, who's going to push a Nexus? Are you going to try catch a wave? Ultimately, SK Gaming come out on top and take down Mad Lions. This was the longest game in the LEC since 2018, and we're going to head over to the Analyst desk to prepare for our next match, G2 versus Astralis. But I mean, oh, what a ridiculous, ridiculous performance. And what a difficult situation to be in, really, when you think about how many Elders, how many Dragons, how many scenarios could have been played differently Both teams will be going home to review what they did well and not over the course of that game.
It's a tricky situation moving on to a new game. Now we're trying to just catch our breaths, really, right? All right, let's calm it down a little bit. Let's get into a new game where the first turrets actually matter, where the gold actually matter in the beginning, and new comes to come through. But definitely, as you're saying yourself, it's a hard one to dissect, because one thing is, all right, I could just change the early game. I would never end up in this late game situation. Another one is, I could just have team fought better, not get caught. There's so many thoughts to go through your head.
What if? And ultimately, SK come out on top. All right, now let's calm down, catch our breaths, and turn towards the future. Due to some issues during Champion Select between G2 and Astralis, we do need to remake that Champion Select. The teams have started picks and bans now, and we will get to the Rift as soon as is possible. For our astute, long-time viewers, you may remember that while we have players remote, we do have that delay on stream. So let's talk a little bit about G2 taking on Astralis. Yesterday, G2 picked up a win. Astralis looked competitive in their game, but...
They were competitive. You're saying it like it was not a super close game, Trevor.
Well, let's talk then what will happen today with the expectations we have from yesterday, Guldborg.
Okay, so I mean, we have the two players right behind me as well. Dajor versus Caps. Dajor in his debut game, finding solo kills as well, finding ways to get out of ganks. I actually felt he held his own incredibly nicely yesterday. And on the Vex, found so many crucial ultimates to lead his team forward for WhiteKnight to then follow up with the Kennen. I don't specifically think there is anything too wrong with Astralis yesterday. I think they were rusty. I think they were making a few mistakes in the late game. But all in all, this Astralis was way more solid than I would have first anticipated.
And to be fair, I think that a lot of the rookies that are coming in have been doing really great, especially these first 2 days. And Hornet specifically on that replay, WhiteKnight picking the Kennen, something that EU top laners have been favoring for a long time. I think versus something like a comp that G2 showed us yesterday, with BrokenBlade diving in with the Corki, could possibly be a game changer for them.
I wonder what other unique and interesting picks we'll continue to see over the course of Super Week, because G2, of course, had a very good performance, I think, from Caps in that middle lane, definitely showing up and continuing to remind everyone of what he can do on the Rift today, coming up against Dajor. What sort of task does Dajor have ahead of him? Because yesterday we saw Rika taking down Perks.
I mean, okay, with a lot of help, granted, right? But he's got the task where he just needs to hold his own. Dajor, me and Trouble has been following this guy for a long time. Trouble mentions it a lot earlier, also yesterday. This guy has a vast champion pool. He's got a lot of different playstyles that he can rely on. Obviously, I don't favor him going up against Caps, but what he will have to do is soak the pressure that comes on from Caps in the individual matchup and find ways to find himself useful for his teammates in other ways that's not about the laning phase. I think he did that beautifully on the Vex. I think other roaming champions come to mind as well, where he's going to be able to do that, but it's a tough answer or question to answer when we've only seen one game as well.
Well, let's take a look at that game. We have some highlights from G2's win against XL yesterday, and Trouble, what can you glean from this single game sample size? It was a win in the end. It was something that we've talked about, and G2 have to perform.
That's my favorite replay. BrokenBlade going straight back into the backline and taking Finn away from the team fight. I think it is so crucial having an ADC like a Jinx and a Lulu, taking away all these barrels that stop you from progressing forward whenever you can, and also killing Finn in the process. I think he played this beautifully. I loved his packages. Every time he would dive in the backline, he would take at least 1 or even 2 people with him. And I feel like he was a huge pivotal part of why G2 won this game versus XL, because it was so chaotic and back and forth.
But it's also just at the end of the game, you saw the Elder replay. We saw both teams backs up against the wall where they both collectively said, whoever gets this Elder just straight up wins the game. Because that is what that game came down to. Whoever wins that Smite fight most likely takes the team fight afterwards. And I mean, obviously we could have what we had today, but let's assume that Elder Drake was implemented by Riot for a team to win the game.
Yeah, that is the intended purpose.
Maybe the third one?
But when you get 3 of them, the math has to be reconfigured. Okay, G2 versus XL will be coming up in just a moment. While we're still getting ready, let's take a look at the standings very quickly. We are 3 games down on day 2 of Super Week, and I think it's going to be very interesting to see how teams develop, right? The first week and the second week of Spring, you always expect some stumbles. You always expect teams to be finding their footing and learning what the meta will be. But right now, this could be a huge opportunity when you look at Astralis, if they could pick up something against G2.
Honestly, it puts them in the middle of the pack right here, and it puts them right next to Mad Lions, for example, the back-to-back champions. Then you see that people are not that far away, because honestly, when we play in the first Super Week, it's just 3 games. You see, yes, teams so far apart in terms of ranking, but technically the games are just so close together.
And that's the thing, like causing upset specifically in the early game or in the early stage of the season matters just as much as it does towards the end of it. Every win counts, and I know we say that, I know it's like a thing to say, right? But it does.
Especially for tiebreaker rules, and sorry to cut you off. Let's hope we can get another banger just like that one. It is time to continue with the show. Jankos and Caedrel, take it away.
I'm just kidding, Mark. I'm totally messing with you.
Wait,
I'm fine. My audio's fine. I was kidding.
Oh, what the hell? You were joking? I was shaking. What the? Drakos, don't do me like that, man. I looked at all my settings. I was like, wait, is he gone again?
I'm sorry to everyone in production, everyone at home. Audio is fine. We're back to normal. Production, I'm sorry I didn't warn you.
Oh my god, man, my heart.
We're good. We're getting ready for Astralis G2. You just heard the devs cover that and the epic game that we had before it, and we can only hope that this game will be equally epic, and perhaps we will give Caedrel 5 minutes to rest somewhere in the middle. I'll just ramble about nonsense. You'll get a brief
really
Drakos
there
solo
for a
cast.
second, buddy. Jesus. Jesus, man. Okay, yeah. Astralis versus G2. We're good. Let's get into it. I think Astralis' performance yesterday, not too bad. Very back and forth game versus Misfits. A lot of highlight moments, but in the end, Misfits took it. And a lot of the games, I think, in ADC Week 1 will always kind of be close. Not bad meta reads, good meta reads, you know, stage nerves, back on stage, shaking off the rust, not too many scrims. Yeah, so I think always at the start of splits you can see a lot more even games. And the longer the split goes, that's when the team improvement curves come in and we see the real differences.
Sure, and I think one thing that both of these teams had in common in their previous game as we get in the draft is that both of the games were actually incredibly scrappy. Remember G2 Esports yesterday was a bit of a rough start, but they kept coming out just that little bit on top, fight after fight after fight, whether it was an extra kill or an extra tower. It was really a game about building those incremental advantages over time. And Astralis, while they had some strong moments, really struggled to deal with hear it on that Irelia. So excited to see now what they can do with a fresh start. Kobbe was building up a massive individual CS lead. Want to see if he can do it again. And G2, already recognizing some of the success he had yesterday, have opted to ban away that Jinx. Diana also hitting the bench alongside the Twisted Fate.
Yeah, we'll see if Renekton gets banned away here. LeBlanc taken away from Caps. We've also seen Thresh bans on red side. On ban 3, we've seen Vex bans. Kennen taken away. I wonder if Aphelios is really high prio now. Jhin still the answer though. I wonder if that's going to be the trade-off of AD carries. Jarvan, Lee Sin, Sinzao, all the junglers still up. We've seen first pick Sinzaos, first pick Renektons, but no actions taken away from G2. I wonder if that's BrokenBlade or Caps.
Interesting, interesting. Obviously saw Perkz play it yesterday to not much success, so hard to get a good gauge on how strong the champion actually is in pro, even if he is incredibly oppressive in solo queue, as we do know. But it's going to be the Lee Sin now coming in for Jankos. Had a pretty good performance yesterday. See if he can replicate that now here on the Blind Monk. And wouldn't be surprised to see another first pick Thresh from the side of Astralis, promisq, and Kobbe doing quite well in lane with that one. And now, with Thresh locked in, it's an easy Aphelios follow-up, really setting up Kobbe to carry in this game if they do opt for it.
Yeah, and if he does pick Aphelios here, normally the answer to Aphelios is actually Ziggs. I wonder if Flakked wants to go towards a Ziggs pick. We might just see Jhin Leona come out from them or some kind of Jhin Rakan. But expecting bot lane to be picked here. In eastern regions, we might see mid or top laner paired with the jungler on 1-2-3. Things like Graves, Lee Sin are very famous early rotations in the LCK especially. But we'll see what G2 opts into. Of course, we saw the Corki top yesterday. Notorious counter pick to the GP. Old school Klepto Corki top. I believe that was 2020 days, 2019. I could be wrong. But there it is. Syndra picked up for Caps. There's Graves top perhaps for BrokenBlade. Full top side alongside their jungler.
Yeah, 2019 calling back. They removed it in 2020, I remember, because Nagari couldn't take it anymore. That was kind of the defining moment. Yeah. The quintessential klepto abuser. We'll see if he's a First Strike fan, too, as we move later and later into the season. But for now, Astralis taking their time debating what to go for here. Graves top, love to see it. Are they comfortable playing the Tryndamere counter that we've seen, or Tryndamere answer, let's not call it a counter, that we've seen so many times in LCK? Instead, the Irelia locked in.
I feel like it is a counter, actually, because when I see it in LCK, it's always the counter pick, and when I see it actually in the game, Tryndamere seems to be solo killing Graves on the side lane a lot of the times. Graves doesn't really have any CC for him. But anyway, Irelia picked up, can go mid, can go top. Will be a flex moving into the 4-5s, and I think G2 know that Poppy banned away. Actually, that's probably a Poppy jungle ban, now that I think about it. Zanzarah, notorious for his crazy jungle picks. Maybe we'll see a Trundle ban as well if Targamas wants to play a melee engage support like Leona, because Zanzarah, I believe his Trundle was banned away on the 1-2-3 yesterday by Misfits, but no, it's going to be a Xin ban for now. And normally with Irelia, you want to either pair a really strong AP jungler or something like a Sejuani with the Irelia. But it looks like we might just get Zanzarah's Trundle.
In return of the potential Trundle. And honestly, I like it. Syndra, a very immobile champion. If you can throw a pillar behind her, it makes it very easy for the Irelia to follow up, the Aphelios to hit the gravity gun. G2 really have to debate for what they want to grab. Still need to find their bottom lane. Seraphine going to be one half of that bottom lane. See what they want to pair with it. Now remember, Targamas had a fantastic game yesterday. Deathless on the Lulu. See if he can replicate some of that success on something else.
If that's Seraphine AD carry and they pick a range support, then I really worry for this Trundle pick, because there's absolutely no frontline whatsoever for him to ult or even try to steal resistances from. Ooh, Seraphine Pike, baby! Targamas Pike! I've seen it in the URLs last year. It is a force to be reckoned with.
And that's one thing I got to give G2 credit for. Yes, I know the Corki is an answer to the GP, but it still feels like a pick out of left field for a lot of people. Now seeing a Pike Seraphine bot lane, I love that this G2 Esports lineup, even though it's mostly completely new, is still keeping some of that crazy identity we saw from G2 in the past. That said, Astralis rounding it out with the Kennen for WhiteKnight, solid performance on it yesterday. Feels like Astralis has a composition that we know what to expect from it. It's a little bit more straightforward. The Irelia, a bit of a curveball. The rest of the team very well equipped for team fighting.
Oh yeah, definitely. And can I just say, the creativity coming out of bot lanes already. Mad Lions with the Karthus lane, now we've got a Seraphine lane, Pike supports, very different picks coming out here. And I think G2's comp is very straightforward. It's all about the top side. Seraphine expected to be the weak side, Pike getting out of that lane. Seraphine, I wonder what Flakked will build. Will he build AP Seraphine or will he go towards some kind of Moonstone build? We will keep our eyes on it. But Astralis comp, a lot of teamfight. Irelia wants to get ahead, and Kennen, notorious teamfighter.
Absolutely the case. Of course, Seraphine has a lot of tools to disrupt that. Good disengage with the Lee Sin kick. And when you've got a Syndra Lee Sin duo, easy to cast our eyes into the mid lane. Two very explosive compositions as we get ready for Astralis versus G2. Here we are, back on the Rift with a slightly different stylized Caps name than many of you might be used to seeing.
Is there a reason for the capital P? Why
he
P?
Is proficient. I don't know, I'm trying to think of P words that are... He is positive gamer.
He's positive gamer. Is there a reason for the capital P? Not the A? Why not the S?
I'm not entirely sure. We could ask him.
Definitely, I want to ask him for sure. See what the reason is there, because there must be a reason. It's Caps. He probably has some kind of like, I had a dream that I won Worlds with this name. Just like when they were in playoffs, and he's like, I had a dream that I played Kog'Maw.
Maybe
and he picked it and won the finals.
Maybe he told the G2 content team, I want to shave my head again. They're like, no, you can make a different change this time. We like you with hair, buddy. Keeping the hair. And so they're like, I'll change a single letter in the name. Like, all right,
I'll change the capital letter. Anyway, Targamas has opted for the Aftershock Pike. Now in solo queue, Hail of Blades Pike is the aim of the game. Level 1 all in.
As a Pike enthusiast, and I know Medic will back me up on this because we're both Pike enthusiasts, please take Hail of Blades. Please take Hail of Blades and auto attack people. Aftershock is the safe bet. Stay alive a little bit longer, but because you don't actually stack health, you get a lot less value out of it. That said, you will be a little bit tankier, trades a little bit easier, and we'll have to see how this works out. Normally when you get the Seraphine, you expect, oh, you're going to have two ranged characters together, you're going to have a bit of an advantage, but when she's in the AD carry slot paired with the Pike, we could have a very close early laning phase.
Also, I just want to highlight Caps has Ignite in this mid matchup. No TP Syndra, full aggression. I think he knows Dajor has to find all-ins and try to get this mid matchup snowballing in favor of the Irelia. Now the Syndra actually not too bad into the Irelia. Can use the Scatter the Weak to cancel the Q as Targamas gets flayed here. He's going to pop the hook.
But coming back, keep in mind, promisq has no Aftershock of his own, so overall trading onto him a very generally solid decision.
Drakos, let me pose you a question there as a Pyke enthusiast. If you had Halo Blades there, was that your first blood in your bank if you were that Pyke?
I feel like you just extend that trade as long as humanly possible, and yeah, try to make it your first blood. That said, I don't actually know how positive it is for you, because I don't know enough about Seraphine's damage output. Like, you might be griefing extending a trade against Aphelios Thresh level 1.
Damn, Pyke level 1 damage with Halo Blades is nuts though. Every time I get hooked, I'm shocked by the damage. But Caps is going to push in that mid wave. Dajor on 3CS will catch up after he catches the wave, and we're going to get an early top dive 3 minutes into the game. I believe this is wave 4. Caps and Jankos. We knew this was a topside play. BrokenBlade has stacked the wave up. WhiteKnight might be in trouble. Dajor can TP to the tower.
See if they can force out the early TP. Maybe G2 are just hoping to find it. They are now just going to back away. I like the play overall, forcing out that key summoner from Dajor early on. Keep in mind, Caps now just walks right back to mid lane, is going to get there first with the wave already about to push back into him. So things overall solid on that exchange, not costing G2 a lot to get that small advantage.
Yeah, at least Dajor managed to push the wave fast enough that it ran to the tower and didn't get caught by the next wave coming. So he won't get frozen on. Just will lose the TP, will back off, buy a small little Doran's item, run back towards mid, not the end of the world. Caps, of course, isn't running TP, so no kind of TP advantage here, just burning an earlier red TP, so now Caps will probably push in this wave and base. We'll see if Zanzarah wants to stop it.
I like Zanzarah being here. Not a lot of mana left for Caps. 3 stacks left on the Corrupting Potion, so he's not in really any big threat range, but you could disrupt him trying to back. Instead, Caps are very clearly content to just stay in this lane a little bit longer, push with a slightly larger wave.
Yeah, look at Targamas as well. I think Caps is saying in the comms, guys, my mid wave is stacking. I might need some kind of cover here in case the enemy jungle's around. Targamas says, I'll be there for you, buddy. Get some vision on one side of the mid lane. That means Caps can hug the bot side, crash that wave in, and take a base of his own. So not much has really happened in this early game, and I think G2 are kind of happy with that. Bot lane, as long as it's even, they're practically winning then because of the Seraphine Pyke lane, waiting to get Pyke out of lane, and G2 probably going to start the strike towards the top side on their level 6s when Herald's up, or if Targamas can find someone.
Yep, so really keeping our eyes on promisq and Targamas to see whose roams can be more effective in this early game as we see the isolated 1v1 on the bottom side, just that farm fest that we've kind of gotten used to, honestly, this week in LEC. But for now, neither support able to do too much, just G2 shadowing around Caps so he can crash that wave in before looking for a chance to base, and promisq just going to grab some souls while his jungler finishes up some camps. Flakked, though, still wants to go in for the aggressive trades here. His bot wave will just even out.
Yeah, Flakked running the cleanse, of course. If a hook hits, he needs to cleanse it off. Or if Aphelios has the gravity gun with ultimate, he needs to make sure he gets out of that. Can't get locked down. And I think the game is just all about mid lane right now. Caps running with Ignite, still hasn't based yet. So when that wave did crash, he didn't manage to recall. I think he's just going to try to catch this wave and base soon and get that lost chapter. And I think when he's level 6 with Ignite, mid lane always has kill pressure.
Yeah. Good news is he had a cookie there, so he can get a little bit more mana back. promisq going to get pulled back. Remember, that is no Aftershock on the Thresh. He's getting ignited. He's going to get burned down. The Phantom Undertow not going to connect. Big damage, and that's going to be first blood going over to the side of G2. But now the response. The Pillar pushing Caps out of the way. The Flawless Duet will not connect. Targamas going invisible with the Ghostwater Dive. It's a snare from across the wall from Kobbe, and Mr. Reliable makes the kill come through for Astralis.
Yeah, it's a 1-for-1, but G2 just win out on this play. Look, G2 got first blood, and look how many flashes Astralis just used to kill Caps, Kobbe, Dajor, Zanzarah. promisq flashed as well, even though he was dead. 4 flashes gone just for Caps. I think G2 will take that, as well as the first blood. He should be able to get back to mid in time to catch the wave. Maybe if Caps flashed over the wall a little bit earlier, Kobbe wouldn't be able to buff the auto attack to get the root. But now Jankos is behind. Kobbe no flash. We'll see if Targamas can look for some kind of E-flash here into Hook, but Zanzarah is reading the play.
Zanzarah in the area, flash through, is going to connect on the AD carry there. Kobbe, though, the body block comes in from promisq. Glacial Augment going down. Kobbe still on the retreat. 1 death so far for Astralis. Has just enough Gravitum ammo left to make sure G2 cannot follow up.
Yeah, clean comms from G2. E-flash, look for the hook. The hook doesn't actually connect with the flip, but it got the damage across. promisq's the one to fall. Both of them no flash, so vulnerable to a Pyke with flash. Really easy gap close. Flakked's going to be able to push in this bot wave and take a base here. And I was a little bit worried for G2, as we see in this replay. promisq got hooked, but watch the ignites on the bottom of your screen from Targamas and Caps. They both pop ignite at the exact same time, so they cancel each other's ignite out. So I thought there was a chance promisq could get away if he dodged this, but no, Caps gets the kill. Maybe if Caps ran towards the wall and flashed over immediately, he'd be fine, but he kind of runs towards the bot side, sees Kobbe, and by the time he flashes, the root connects. But still, so many flashes used, and then G2 quick to punish them.
Yeah, ultimately, as you highlighted, though, First Blood Gold going to be a big deal there. Lost Chapter making it very easy for Caps to stay in this lane. Of course, Irelia always going to have that bit of kill pressure, always a champion that needs to be respected, but as long as Caps has that scatter of the week and he's not pushed too far forward, he should be okay. Level 6s just around the corner for these junglers. Jankos obviously a lot more playmaking potential. Zanzarah strong in the skirmish, but that ulti not going to do a whole lot in terms of utility.
Yeah, WhiteKnight did use his TP back to lane. Of course, Kennen with TP is always a deadly threat, but not on the 2022 season, not on Season 12. Can't really impact bot as much as he'd like to with the TP, of course, and bot is pure 2v2. So mid lane still point of contention for both these teams. Caps will have Ignite up soon, but Irelia has ult and Caps has no flash, so Dajor, if he finds some kind of all-in onto Caps, he should be able to burst him down. And we'll see if Caps can kill him quick enough before he takes him down. Drake still up, Herald just spawned. Zanzarah hits level 6 the same time as Jankos, both junglers hovering around mid. And like you said, Drakos, promisq and Targamas, they need to keep track of each other to the second, to the T, to make sure their teams are safe.
Yeah, and sadly for Kobbe, the game does not get any easier. Flashback to the Misfits game he played last season against that Nocturne. Now, it is going to be easier to survive this time around. There is no Nocturne, but there's the Syndra, Lee Sin, and a Pyke on the enemy team, so positioning has to be good. promisq has to be ready with the Lantern in any fights to come. But for now, both sides shifting up to that Herald, looking to contest that major objective. G2 going to get it started. Zanzarah in the area, but no real response from Astralis first. They're going to be second to this objective at best, and for now it looks like they're just going to have to give it up without contesting. G2 already almost 1,000 gold in the lead. The Herald should guarantee at least 1.5k in their favor.
Yeah, I feel like if Zanzarah and promisq were down towards the bot side here, Kobbe could free hit this tower and get so many plates, but instead they're just wasting time watching G2 take an objective, unless they can find a kill onto Caps, no flash.
Caps locked up. Pyke waiting, debating, doesn't want to throw that bone skewer in, doesn't want to pull any one of those people into his team. So G2 backing away though, unscathed, and as you said, Aphelios on the bottom side normally can break a few plates down, but Flakked still in the area. G2 don't have to commit too many members to make that happen. Does have to respect the green-white gun combo, but Kobbe really not enough power to dive on his own quite yet.
Yeah, Astralis really slow on the response there. They tried to force some kind of fight with Zanzarah's ultimate to at least get something for G2 getting the Herald. But if they'd moved towards the bot side, maybe started the Drake earlier, that would be dead already. Kobbe had a massive bot wave stacking and could have zoned away Flakked from the tower and got some plates, but that didn't happen either. So free Herald to G2 will finally get answered for a dragon. And Kobbe will just play a little bit defensive here now that Targamas is back in the lane.
Yeah. Both supports relatively low level though, still only level 5 with their level 7 carries in response. Pyke level 6, huge both for playmaking and the execution potential. Thresh's box more important if anyone's diving onto you, but not as impactful, I would argue. So keeping our eyes on those guys as Targamas just continues to roam mid lane. I frankly love it when we never see a support in the bottom lane, but Dajor might not be such a big fan. Ooh, Bone Skewer comes out just in time. Irelia now throwing out the ult. That's the lockdown. Targamas incredibly squishy, but G2 have the damage to shut down the Irelia.
Yeah, so much burst. 2 ignites again from Caps and Targamas. Overlap, but still Jankos ult, Caps ult, so much burst, like you just said. Dajor, I think he thought that when he got hit by the hook, he was as good as dead because Lee Sin can follow up with ward jump, flash, kick. So he tried to all in. He tried to just trade 1 for 1 to at least get something out of the play, but didn't manage to take down Targamas. Now Dajor has fallen. His flashes just came up now. And Jankos has this Herald still. Probably wants to use it mid, but as I say that, he's hovering towards the top side and this tower is low. Might be able to take the full tower here.
promisq in the area, difficult to dive the Kennen, but they don't even need to dive at this point. They can just let the Herald do the work for them.
They're standing on a ward.
Zanzarah. Keep in mind, WhiteKnight has flash and ulti available. G2 have to be careful about overstaying their welcome, but WhiteKnight knows if he burns the ulti too early or doesn't find the perfect opportunity, the play will turn against them. They are going to back away, but they hold on, crucially, to the top tower.
I have to say, I feel like heralding mid is just always the better play, because even if you don't take the tower, the lower mid tower is the better is for the game. And if you take top tower, you end the Graves' lane phase, which he has perma push in. But I can see why G2 did it. They want to give all the gold to Graves to get him as strong as possible, so the side lane threat is powerful. When you're looking at both Kobbs, who are the side laners for both teams? Who's pushing out both side lanes to get to the mid lane first? It's BrokenBlade and Dajor. So if BrokenBlade's really far ahead and can deal with the Irelia over side lane, G2 have a very easy time of contesting mid waves, because BrokenBlade pushes Dajor in the tower, moves towards mid, and they have a numbers advantage. Simple as that. G2 trying to get their side laners and their solo laners ahead.
Makes a lot of sense, especially when you look ahead to team fights. We know how impactful the Slicing Maelstrom can be from the Kennen, and frequently in Kennen lanes, your goal playing up against him is just to get him to burn that ulti in lane so he cannot use it in the team fight. When Graves is ahead, he's certainly set up to do that.
Caps.
As you can see, Immortal Shield Bow now coming through, and Caps landing some good skill shots here, but not able to find much more than that.
Yeah, Jankos and Targamas have been holding hands the whole game long. Reminds me of Jankos and Mickey when they used to pincer towards mid, always help Caps' lane, and WhiteKnight gets hit by the Q.
Kick in, forcing out the ulti though. WhiteKnight
Flash.
backing away here, and makes it very easy if G2 want to fish for a follow-up dive in the future. Kennen without ultimate, not much of a threat. Targamas still in the area, and Astralis seeing this, try to make a counterplay in the mid lane. Zanzarah just taking Raptors for now.
If that root hit, I think Caps could have flashed, QE'd and followed up and killed Kobbe there. Hook might hit though. No. Close. G2 playing with fire here a bit, but Dajor's getting a lot of plates down towards the bot side. G2 did get first tower of the game, but Dajor will still get some gold on this bot tier 1 because Flakked couldn't stay under bot tower. He would have got dove. He moved mid to clear mid wave while 4 members of G2 took the top tier 1.
But overall, when we just take stock of things right now, Caedrel, the Infernal Drake, really the only thing Astralis has going for them. A tower to G2, almost 3,000 gold in their favor. Seraphine building up the first item here. You expect Aphelios, when he does get a chance to recall, will be able to get some items, but for now he's trapped under that tower against Caps' Syndra, a difficult place to be. And meanwhile, BrokenBlade's taking crucial jungle CS away from Zanzarah.
Yeah, this Graves is going to be a monster on side lane, especially when you look at Dajor, who has Mercury Treads. When he plays against BrokenBlade on the side lane, he's going to get melted. No plated steel caps to protect him from the damage. And yes, granted, BrokenBlade might build Mercury Treads himself, but the Graves, the biggest winner out of that. He has so much lifesteal. I think they're going to have to get some healing reduction here, because the Graves build is normally shield bow, BT, and then you basically lifesteal through everything and can never die. You're a frontline AD carry tank.
Yeah, those are words that combine well together. It feels like back when Ornn was OP and you just threw every class adjective that you could think of at him.
Good times.
Great times. Everybody loved Ornn when he was so OP. That was a
Bard,
good
Mage,
one.
Warlock, Druid, Warrior, Paladin, Shaman. I can't remember what the last did,
Enchanter,
but
Monk,
he
whatever you want to go with. Fighter. Here's the thing, though. I think having BrokenBlade on the side lane just feels so solid, and I'm just wondering how Astralis can hold their own and make, you know, I don't want to oversimplify, but make good decisions. I think Astralis in the past is a team that's always been good under pressure, good in a deficit. That's why they were able to find some wins at the end of last season. Always very creative in those moments. But that said, G2 keeping Targamas everywhere, it feels like, so ready to make a play that if Astralis do misstep at all, it's so easy, especially for Kobbe, especially for WhiteKnight or promisq, just to get one shot.
Yeah, and the reason I'm not a huge fan of Astralis' draft is because of the complexity of it in such an early year. You're a brand new team, you've got a brand new mid laner coming in, brand new AD carry. You don't really know what your groove is. Yes, you've been scrimming and you found wins on certain picks, but when you're playing a comp that has Thresh Trundle, relies on making picks, Irelia, which relies on getting the solo lane ahead to play over side lane, and then Kennen and Aphelios as team fighters, you have a lot of pieces of a different puzzle that you want to put together to make it work. You don't have a Jinx or a Corki who can just sit there catching waves and then look for a 5v5, right? It's a lot more simple, a lot more one-dimensional, and scaling in teamfight tends to be the strongest kind of comps in an early season, as we see WhiteKnight force the TP away from BrokenBlade, getting caught out on the side lane. And just the complexity of Astralis' comp makes it very difficult for them to dissect the map. 4,000 gold close to down now, losing their tier 1s. Bot tier 1 will fall soon, and they just lost the dragon. We'll see if they can find anything, because they're going in onto Targamas now.
Targamas locked up, leaping back. Dajor is now going to find the stun. Targamas flashing over the wall. Jankos waiting. Will ward hop out to save you. So they do get the flash from the pike, but not a whole lot else. And keep in mind, in the meantime, BrokenBlade is now on the top side, freely pushing, knowing that no one in Astralis is in the area. BrokenBlade doing a lot of work in that individual matchup. Now, can't afford to overstay here, but will at least try to take away the Krugs too.
Yeah, he's getting TP'd on from behind. Has flash, has ult. WhiteKnight has ult as well, though.
Walking away, going to be almost impossible to get out of this one. There's just too much chain CC. Lots of lifesteal, buys a bit more time, but ultimately will go down. WhiteKnight going to take that kill. No one on G2 on the map to make a response play.
But look at where all of Astralis is. 5-man top. What are they doing? They're making a pick. What does their comp do? It's a pick comp. Apart from Kennen and Aphelios that can teamfight around objectives, they need to find kills like this to stabilize the game, because they're going to get pushed in on every side. Down in towers, lost the Herald. Going to lose the second Herald you expect now that Dajor is based and hasn't got the TP. WhiteKnight no ult for the team fight. And then G2 probably going to crack open this bot tier 1. And I feel like the Seraphine, Flakked is going damage Seraphine here, not so much support, but fantastic scaling. Graves will always scale to be a monster over side lane. So Astralis need to find a little bit more picks over side.
Look for more, and good on him. Right as BrokenBlade is able to burn WhiteKnight's TP, Astralis are able to fire back and find a pick of their own. And again, we've seen Kennen, super impactful champion, especially with the addition of Shadow Flame to the game. This man just eats squishy targets alive, and there are a ton of squishy targets on the side of G2 Esports. So, as you said, picks and eventually teamfight execution for Astralis. Well, just have to see how much more G2 can build their lead, as Astralis are still 3K down. BrokenBlade trying to one-shot the wave here, and not nearly fast enough to stop Astralis from taking the turret, but it was close.
Yeah, good map movements from Astralis though. Pick on top, base, run towards the bot side, get a bot tier 1, maybe look for BrokenBlade if he overextends. Now we're all down towards the bot side. Can we find a pick again before any objective spawns? BrokenBlade's gonna find Zanzarah first though, a lot of burst damage.
Zanzarah throwing down the ultimate immediately alongside the Chilling Smite. Pillar to push them back.
promisq.
Flash over the wall from promisq. They've still got a blast cone. They're now backing away. That's a Seraphine ultimate, but it's Dajor in the midst of everybody. He's set up for resets. Pyke just wants to fish for the execution, getting him lower and lower, but he's forced to dash away. Dajor must be one sad boy. He was so close to so many resets, but while all this is happening, Astralis feels like they're forced to try and take this tower, but it's Jankos from behind manages to find the kill. There is a Herald crashing on the top side, and right when it looked so good for Astralis, they walk away with nothing, while Caps breaks open the top side of the map.
2 towers for Caps, tier 2 and a tier 3. Tier 2 is giving so much gold, and Astralis tried to find a pick. Good engage, good fight, but what happened? Targamas hooked Dajor's Q. He stopped him from getting resets on the Qs. He had 3 stacks across 3 different members. He could have made so much work in those fights. Caps is going to get rooted here. WhiteKnight has ultimate. Can he burst and trade 1-for-1? No, he
will not get the opportunity. Gale Force in from Kobbe just to secure the kill, and the Aphelios is getting stronger. But meanwhile, again, it feels like every time Astralis do anything, G2 have the response play. Bot side, Astralis aren't able to find kills. Caps finds 2 towers. They finally kill Caps. BrokenBlade takes down bot tier 1, and now Dajor feels pretty confident here. Jankos is now coming in over the wall, and the Irelia has to run, but Zanzarah is now pushing forward. WhiteKnight is here as well. Astralis, can they finally get ahead of the clock with this play? Dajor a little bit low, wants to heal, wants to get something done. The Q goes wide from Jankos. Dajor forcing the flash out from Jankos. The lockdown comes through as well. G2 losing so many on that bot lane.
Yeah, 3 members down. Caps died top, so 2 members down on the bot side of the map. Dragon spawning in 40 seconds. We'll see if promisq wants to chase onto Flakked here, who has no sums. Hook goes wide. I'd love to see that replay of the fight in the bot side jungle. I think Targamas hooked Dajor's Q and saved 2 or 3 members there from falling. But they do manage to pick up a few pieces on the bot side of the map. TP invested from WhiteKnight. They keep trying to look for these picks, and they are finding some. Still down in gold though. 4,000 gold lead for G2.
It's just difficult for Astralis. Feels like they finally found the right answer on that one, but when you take stock of all of those plays back to back to back, it is still G2 who come out on top. But looking back at this fight, the one that you're talking about, Zanzarah initially appears to be caught, but this feels like where Astralis could have turned it.
Yeah, Dajor gets so much work done here. Takes the lantern from promisq and ults 3 people here. Q, and as he does it, he gets hooked. He would have Q'd BrokenBlade, auto-attacked, Q'd Flakked, killed him, maybe even looked for BrokenBlade as well. But Targamas hooks Dajor's Q and then ease away and stops the fight from continuing, I believe. And then Jankos, great flank, manages to pick up Zanzarah. What happened shortly after this was G2 were the ones overextending in bot, and Astralis were the ones who punished them with a TP ward behind that they had placed there previously. Off-screen there, Jankos picking up the 2nd dragon of the game. And now it looks like the game is settled into a catching waves and everyone's in base.
And again, we see a situation where we have a game where the kills are incredibly close, but the gold is so massively different. 4K in favor of G2 Esports, 2 items and a stopwatch completed for Caps. He does a ton of work against the squishier members like the Kennen or the Aphelios. Kobbe building towards the BT will help a little bit, and Zanzarah waiting in the darkness can go for something, but if he finds him in a 1v1, he does a lot of damage to Caps. Look at that, Trundle DPS, and now it's Jankos and No Man's Land, and again, Astralis, they're set up for a Baron. If they take this fight, that's the double kill. They can turn right back for it. Aphelios has the perfect guns. G2, they're going to need to find a miracle if they want to contest this one.
WhiteKnight needs to cancel BrokenBlade's TP. I think he's going to be able to drop it in now. WhiteKnight didn't keep track of him, so now he has to run all the way there. Can BrokenBlade, Targamas, and Flakked, the new members of G2, stop Astralis from getting this Baron? Dajor gets hooked.
The ulti, where's it going to go? Dajor in the midst of the entire team. They're buying time, but Astralis is pulled away from the Baron, and Targamas is found the kill. Now it's Kobbe locked up, and there goes the Graves damage. Kobbe running for the hills, but the shotgun will finish the job. Again, it starts so good for Astralis, but they cannot find the Baron.
Yeah, fantastic picks from Astralis. They were so favored in this Baron start, but just sloppy mistakes. Zanzarah, is he going to get the execute? Is Flakked going to get the kill? He is going to get the execute, but does that open up Nash for G2? They don't have the highest of damage for it, but 30 seconds on Zanzarah. Astralis really indecisive on the turn. Dajor turning alone, WhiteKnight not stopping BrokenBlade from TPing. 3 people in the Nash pit while he's turning, then they tried to help him and they all die. I feel like Astralis could have executed that much better, but WhiteKnight finds Caps.
Go over the wall. Caps goes gold and gets himself a little bit of space. Third mark comes through, but WhiteKnight cannot follow up any further. The rest of G2 staying focused on the objective. Seraphine has healing. Lee Sin a bit of lifesteal coming in from the Gore Drinker as well as BrokenBlade's lifesteal. It is going to be enough, and G2, I feel like they just got away with murder there. They get the Baron after Astralis were so close.
They definitely did. Let's look at this again, because Zanzarah's burst onto Caps was ridiculous. We've got Divine Sunder, Red Buff, Red Smite, Zanzarah's ult, so much damage taking on the Caps that he can't get away. Jankos falls as well. Really good pick there from Zanzarah. So what happens next? Well, WhiteKnight doesn't stop BrokenBlade. Look at the minimap on the bottom right. He lets him run away in TP. And now watch Dajor. Zanzarah and Kobbe, like you said, Drakos, fantastic guns for the Baron. The Baron's going down at a very healthy point. It's going down quite quickly. But Dajor gets hooked, tries to turn alone. Now Zanzarah's trying to do Baron. Kobbe's hitting Baron. promisq's trying to turn. WhiteKnight's not even there. It's just a massive mess. And by the time Astralis tried to help out, it's lights out.
And that's the thing, Kobbe, he does so much damage, but if he's left exposed to any of these members of G2 for even a moment, that Graves damage at close range is so impossible to deal with. Again, it's such a dark cloud for Astralis, and there's so many silver linings that you want to be excited for them, but it's a 6k gold difference now for G2. They're pushing in on the bottom side of the map, and again, kill score, dead, even, but everything turning in favor of G2, and they're now set up to start breaking down inhibitors.
Yeah, tier 2 siege coming in. Astralis don't have the best of wave clear if Kobbe is not around. Dajor, Zanzarah, promisq can't really touch those minions and push back. G2 gonna get this bot tier 2. 1 minute 30 seconds on Dragon. No mid wave just yet, so I think they're gonna have to back off soon.
Jankos waiting in the darkness. Kobbe, good guns for a fight if it does break out. G2 committing all 5 members to the bottom side. WhiteKnight TP from behind. G2, have they spotted it out?
They will
They're
spot
still
it now.
pushing forward. They're pulling back. Again, Kobbe, Gale Force ulti. Could lock up a lot of members, could make it easy, but Astralis, they do not feel confident pulling the trigger. They know if that fight turns against them, the game will end in favor of G2. They do not want to bet it all on that WhiteKnight TP.
Wave coming in again. Flakked might be caught here.
Dajor's going in, now stepping forward. That's going to be the lockdown coming in for the backside from Kobbe. Flakked now responding with a knowledge of his own. Zanzarah on the front line. The flash forward, the play goes a little bit wide, but the hook does connect. Flakked goes golden, buys himself a brief moment of time, but he's now set to fall. Flakked taken down, shut down for Kobbe. Big damage coming through, but the resets are there for G2. It's a 3v4, but G2 still confident enough to step forward.
Yeah, but Dajor, massive engage. He doesn't want to lose this bot tier 3. He knows they have no wave clear and pulls the trigger. Fantastic execution on the mechanics to take down Caps, but props go to Flakked as well. Captain jacks the hook with the cleanse, so he buys enough time for G2 to turn. Let's watch Dajor here again. Really good clean combo. Ult flash, Q's Flakked, gets the stun onto Caps with his second Q. W's a little bit of burst, Q's gets the kill. Now watch Flakked. Hook comes from promisq, I believe. Flash forwards, instant Captain Jack on the hook, so he buys so much time for Jankos to come around the corner. Turn with BrokenBlade with the kick. He does end up falling, but now Targamas gets the resets.
Yeah. All really, really crucial that you get that health threshold low enough. Denies a lot of that sustain and comeback potential from the Irelia with the Gore Drinker. Can never let her health drop too low. And now G2 grabbing their 3rd Drake of the game. And Caedrel, I feel like a broken record, man. But like we see these great fights, these great moments from Astralis, but no matter what they do, it's just, you know, they're doing a good job. They're batting 70, but G2's batting 100.
Yeah, they throw 1 punch, G2 throw 2. It's just every play that looks good never really turns out great. Caps might be caught here. Zanzarah is looking for it. Kobbe, I think, is building towards Infinity Edge. If he can get that item, maybe there's a world where Astralis can start to turn fights in the front to back. They have got some kind of front line, but Irelia will always have to dive in with Kennen. Maybe that's enough time for Kobbe to move forwards. We know what a late game Aphelios can do.
Targamas stepping in. Zanzarah, definitely not the target you want to hit. Pillar going to interrupt. BrokenBlade now coming from the back side, and Kobbe clearly the man that they want to take down. Just a bit of poke as G2 going to bully their way into the mid lane, knock down that tier 2 tower.
Yeah, bot wave pushing in. See if BrokenBlade fancies hitting this bot in him when the mid wave comes in. 1 minute 50 seconds on Baron. G2 can afford to just stick around, keep their vision, not make any mistakes, and then start Baron and look to turn. Astralis need to regain some control of their top side so they can get some vision around this Baron area. Zanzarah might have to be careful here though.
Zanzarah though feeling okay. A lot of good damage against the squishier targets, but G2 will need a bit of time if they want to burst out Zanzarah without, especially once he has the ultimate up and available. Only level 13 on the Trundle, but not too bad. Killer coming in, catching Jankos against the wall. Luckily, he has the safeguard to make it out to safety. Kobbe pushing in, stepping forward. Again, has to be careful here, but playing with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, you can see Astralis knew they had a small window while G2 was in base. You just run at them. Zanzarah, just no fear, running straight, pushing Jankos back to his tier 1 so his team can get some vision. Look at the minimap now. 2 wards in G2's jungle, 1 sneaky ward around the Baron to get some vision. Normally you put a pink ward in the pit of the Baron buff, the Baron pit, but this ward's just outside, so it'll see you hitting it, but it won't actually get spotted by the pink ward. G2, that ward right there, will see people hitting the Baron, but it won't actually get spotted by the pink ward. Nice little sneaky ward there. We'll see if Targamas can find it, but now Zanzarah was looking for a blue buff.
And again, very hard to lay down good vision on the side of Astralis. You are playing against a Pyke with the Umbral Glaive on top of the Sweeper. Makes it nigh impossible to keep up any reliable vision line. But despite that, Astralis do have 1 or 2 wards left standing. They will expire by the time the Baron spawns, sadly, but maybe enough to get them some kind of positioning around the pit, as promisq and Kobbe are just now pushing out. I think the good news for them, Caedrel, though, is that while G2 have a lot of damage to potentially get through that Baron, they still need a decent amount of time because they don't have a traditional AD carry and they don't have a true tank. There's enough lifesteal to balance it out, but if G2 get caught in the pit against the Kennen ultimate, they will go down very fast.
G2 trying to collapse onto Zanzarah there, and you're completely right. They should be able to shuffle their way in. I think the TP wards give the wards gives 2 huge values to Astralis. One is, of course, vision, to see what G2's up to on the Baron. Second one is, as I just said, TP wards, right? You're playing Kennen and Irelia, almost level 16 on both of them. If you can find a flank onto this G2 comp, Syndra, Seraphine, Graves, you're going to deal a huge blow to the back line. But front to back, they should be able to spot it out. Kobbe, I wonder if he has IE in base here. Sitting on a BF sword.
Hook going in, will not connect on the back of that Lantern, and IE does come through. 3 items for Aphelios. This is the 200-year threshold.
Yeah.
Champion can start to output some real damage at this stage of the game. Have to, of course, keep him alive, but Thresh with some solid defensive tools to do so.
And this is a very similar build. I believe Markoon was doing it at the start of the day. Or it was just a Jarvan in general, going Gore Drinker or Mythic item into Anathema's Chains. Now, the reason I think it makes sense is if the enemy team only has 1 AP threat, like a LeBlanc, and they're playing Xin Zhao, Graves, Jhin, LeBlanc, you can put the Anathemas on the AP champ and just build full armor, right? So your value of MR doesn't really have to come through. And I think Zanzarah has a similar idea where you can put it on perhaps caps and then build more armor. But as I said, it's got a magic resist item now, but that's some kind of thought there that I've seen throughout the day from junglers builds.
Well, and while it does look like at the end of the day, G2 have a pretty solid split damage profile, the vast majority of their physical damage is going to come from BrokenBlade in an extended exchange. So he could put the Anathema's Chains on BrokenBlade and then just build Force of Nature, which is an item that, since the preseason changes, has been very strong and be almost unkillable. Could also double down and put it on caps, just trying to respect the burst. But BrokenBlade, again, looks like he's going to get caught out here on the side lane. Kobbe can lock him down. Aphelios more than enough damage. Clean Pillar now coming in. It's going to be a split fight. BrokenBlade trying to survive as long as he can. Dashes over the wall. Caps waiting. Astralis not able to find the kill. They burn their TP to do so. Hook will not connect. Scatter the Weak does, but it's just a very, very split fight. 14 seconds on Cloud. And that is the Cloud soul for G2 if they're able to take it. But we have a brief pause here before any potential fight goes out. Caps is just too clean. Knocks him away. promisq you can't even connect on the Flay.
Yeah, they weren't able to lock BrokenBlade down. He does end up using his flash, and Kobbe traded it for the Gale Force. But now, how does Astralis get in this pit? Let's watch WhiteKnight on the side, and Kobbe see if he can get a Gravity ultimate on a couple members of
Level
G2.
16 Kennen. Dajor now going into the tip. WhiteKnight knocked back. He is going to be able to take down one, but nobody else. The Dragon going down in favor of G2. They got a Cloud Soul, but what is it worth in a fight? Targamas finding the reset. It could be big. 1 member dropping for Astralis, 2 members down for G2. Astralis want to keep this exchange going if they're looking to take Baron. Instead, they are just going to back away, giving over the soul to the side of G2.
I wonder if Astralis can lifesteal here and go towards the Baron. They have so much burst with the Aphelios, but Zanzarah is spotted.
Caught out. Locked up. Hook will not connect, though. That's going to be big. promisq coming in. He can throw down the Lantern, but instead Astralis are looking to turn this fight. The Snare now going to come in. BrokenBlade not going to get locked down. promisq now in the midst of everybody, but it's Dajor in the midst of everyone. And Kobbe free firing from the back line. That's the lockdown on 2. Zanzarah stepping forward. He's not afraid. He's just so tanky as the Trundle backing away now. Hook going in, but there is no ulti for Targamas. It's an absolute bloodbath. Both sides still standing. Nobody will go down.
Everyone gets out. So much mobility from BrokenBlade. Astralis don't have any CC. All of their CC is almost like point-and-click skill shots. You know, you've got the Thresh hook, you've got the Irelia stun. Nothing hit BrokenBlade. But let's watch this fight again. WhiteKnight on the side, instantly taking out Caps. Flakked lands the ultimate onto 2 and then pops the stopwatch, so he buys time. BrokenBlade practically untouched, full HP. They get the soul, and then they get out. Targamas solo killing WhiteKnight at the end of that. Turns into a 4v3, but it turns into a very messy 4v3 as BrokenBlade tries to catch out Zanzarah, and the fight ensued from there. But now, back to live. Look at WhiteKnight's positioning on the top of your screens. Can he find Caps again? Caps still has flash, Flakked has flash. They both have stopwatches as well. But there's no very dangerous spot.
No flash for Dajor, no flash for WhiteKnight means getting under the back line is significantly more difficult. On top of that, you have a GA coming in for BrokenBlade, just completed, alongside a stopwatch for Jankos. So going to be hard to pick off a priority target, and ultimate cooldowns are at an all-time low on the side of G2 Esports right now.
WhiteKnight is still there. He knows G2 have to start Baron soon because Kobbe is just catching waves.
Sneaking into the back of the pit.
Oh, they spotted him with the blue orb.
Now spotted. Time to chase down the Kennen, but Astralis, if they can get there in time, they can try to get something done. Targamas is going to win. There's no way this works. Oh! Flash hook. WhiteKnight now forced to immediately ult, but he will not have it for the following fight. He's just on the retreat. Jankos going to fish for the 1v1, going in with the Gore Drinker, now following up the Sonic Wave, the Resonating Strike. G2 in prime position now to take the second Baron of the game.
Whose blue orb was that, and who's getting the MVP? Because that's an MVP blue orb right there. Spots out WhiteKnight there. Half their team fight is gone now. The only part left is Kobbe. But can he really walk up into Targamas' pike? Zanzarah's around. He has no flash though.
Going in, that's the jungler lockdown. 4K getting lower. BrokenBlade shredding through the Drake. Zanzarah, no flash to get over the wall. There's nothing he can do. BrokenBlade going over the wall anyway. He's not worried about the cooldown timers. He's just trying to kill everybody. Baron already down. Zanzarah running for the hills, but the shotgun to the back will be more than enough. promisq goes in for the hook, buys his team a little bit of space, but it is G2 absolutely destroying Astralis on the back of a single blue ward.
God, this Graves top is unstoppable and unkillable with these items. Bloodthirster, Shield Bow, GA. No one can even walk up to BrokenBlade. And G2 with the Baron are going to push through mid. 30 seconds left. I think they're going to be able to close it out here. WhiteKnight doesn't have ult. It's down to Kobbe and Dajor. What magic can they make happen?
Last hold. WhiteKnight ultimate just around the corner. Flash not too far off either, but he might not get an opportunity. Kobbe perfect guns for an AoE team fight, but if someone gets on top of him, it's going to be a difficult one for sure. Alti now going in, they're trying to burn him down. Aphelios, 200 years, not nearly enough. Alti now coming in though for Astralis. Jankos should get taken down by WhiteKnight. Goes golden. Zanzarah coming into the area, but G2, BrokenBlade's still alive. He's still full health, and it's all too easy. G2 taking down Astralis.
It's disgusting, isn't it? BrokenBlade level 18, Flame Horizon, 100 CS up, 1,000 gold shutdown. So many shields coming in from everything, and he just lifesteals up anything, even if they're broken. So what a clinic there from G2. A little bit of back and forth, I must say. Even though they were 7k up, some of the fights went a bit in Astralis' favor, but they managed to close it out.
Well, and that's something that we saw from G2 yesterday that we're seeing again here today, is that they'll get down and dirty, they'll make mistakes, they'll have members caught out on side lanes, but no matter what happens, it feels like they're always ready to respond somewhere else on the map, or always ready to trade up. Now, key player of the game for this one, you've got Targamas, Flakked, or BrokenBlade, 3 solid options. There's really no wrong choice. Obviously, BrokenBlade did look pretty sick, though, in that final play. Hard to kill that Graves with all that lifesteal. Yeah.
Love me some
Flakked pushed R real good a couple times, pushed stopwatch real good. That's respectable Seraphine performance. However, our final game is the perfect way to close out the day. It is Vitality versus Fnatic facing off in our match of the week. We'll be right back for a preview with Jankos right after this.